Hello and welcome to the Faith Building Podcast, episode 81, with your lovely and amazing hosts, Vladi
and Norman Greater. Hi, guys.
Hello, lovely people. Today's topic interests all of us because we all know it, we all have it, we all borrow it, I want to say, because it's the view from other people. You probably are aware that my blue glasses stand for a different point of view, not that this is the right point of view. Still, that you say, there's always a different angle to each and every situation we are in. And the thing that happens very often, and we just came up while we spoke off the air, off record, when Vladi said, about your movie, the strongest line that I pitch your movie with, and that when I tell people about it, is when the teacher called me retarded many, many years ago in school. And this basically is it. I borrowed his point of view towards me. It's just his point of view. It's not the truth. It's not better. It's not worse. It's just a different point of view. 1 out of 8.2 billion people of views. And the question is, why? Why did I borrow his point of view towards me, took it in my pocket, and not only in the pocket, but into my heart, and I started believing it myself. I saw the world not through my eyes, not through my pair of glasses, but I basically borrowed his pair of glasses. I put it on, and I saw the same world in a total different light. And so many people from all generations, from all countries, do that on a daily basis. Something happens in childhood, something happens in your youth, something happens in your relationship, in your job surrounding. It doesn't matter. You just borrow the view from somebody else, you take it on, it becomes stronger than your own point of view, and you start seeing what was alike and perfect for maybe 49 years through different lenses, and you start doubting everything, you start questioning everything, and this is what we want to speak about today, why this happens, and hopefully how we can change that for the better, because like I said, it's just a different point of view. Vladi, what's your point of view on the topic?
I just went straight to the core belief, and your belief will create the fact, and especially if you're repeating it, you're accepting it, and what happens to us, what will happen to us especially in a childhood, because we often talk about childhood conditioning, is because we are not strong enough and not consciously developed enough to reject the ideas. So, like when we come to this earthly planet, our subconscious mind, which is your emotional mind, is really wide open, and you accept everything you give it. So if you're at that frame of mind where somebody says, oh, you're stupid, and you're in that kind of subconscious where it doesn't say, no, I'm not, because that's your conscious mind that rejects it, your thinking mind, and you just accept it. And then certain situations will happen. So it's like you're experiencing things in your life that you will talk to yourself that way and say, oh, I'm stupid. Oh, I must be stupid if I did that. And the more times you repeat it, the more you believe it, it becomes convincing belief, and it actually changes into paradigm that is running your life. And it is so powerful and sad, really, how many of us, or the amount of people suffering entire life, or a majority of the adult life, until we make a decision to change it, just because somebody said something. And it's usually the people who we love the most. And it may have been parents, it may have been teachers, it may have been, like someone in your environment, or grandparents. Now, they didn't do this intentionally. And most of the time, some maybe, but I really love to believe that these people didn't mean to, okay, I'm going to come to school, and as a teacher, I'm going to destroy kids' lives. But they had stuff going on in their lives, and we just weren't strong enough to cover this and really feel that, like I own up to this, like this is not true, and reject it. And that belief can change so much. And what do you believe? Were you told something like you're not good enough, you're not stupid, like you might be stupid? Or sometimes parents said, oh, like our family, we're not smart ones, so you can't go and study law, you can't study the medicine because nobody else in the family did that. I mean, who is anyone to say that? What if you're going to become the most successful surgeon, most successful whatever it is, or maybe a pilot, maybe anything, but you're listening to your environment lovingly. They think they're protecting you because they believe that, you know, we don't have the money, you don't have the wisdom, we're not smart enough, but that's their belief. And what happens? We listen to it often enough that we adopt it and we believe it. And then we make decisions in our own life and say, oh no, I can't do that because I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Who am I to build a business? Nobody in our family did that. So who am I to start with? But what if you actually change the thought of chain and say, what if I'm the first person in the entire family who will build the $1 million empire or £1,000,000 or euros, whatever it is for you? Or what if I am the first person who's going to get a degree and actually become someone really successful because you want it, not because you were told, but because it's your passion? What if I'm the person who's going to actually get the movie out there and help millions to understand what happens to us? Because these stories that we tell are so many times stories that influence people's life for better, and then they don't do and make decisions and do silly stuff that we did, and they actually help their life. Norman, back to you.
I totally agree. And Vladi, do you remember the Wayne Dyer clip we used to listen every day for many, many months?
Approval?
Approval. And when he basically said, if when somebody says something, it hurts you, this means that the opinion of the other person is above your own opinion about yourself. And it's so true. And it just relates to what you just shared. We take on this belief, we borrow it, and all our actions that are following afterwards are based on this point of view. Just the other day, I listened to another podcast, German podcast, and the gentleman interviewed the founder of the ARC, the Arche, which is a program, or more, I think it's more than just a program. It's an institution that helps poor children and poverty amongst children since many years. And he explained one of the stories when how parents behave when kids come to the ark, like when they're not stable. And that one mother told, I think it was a daughter in young years, and the daughter told this to this gentleman later, that the mother said, it's very sad that I did not get an abortion. Like that I received you was the worst thing ever. And of course, it stuck to this young soul. And if we want to look at the other side first, at the mother's side, where we say this is unacceptable, you cannot tell your child that. Or I know some parents that tell their children, "Oh, you were not planned." Yes, you know
You were
this
an
sentence.
accident.
Yeah, you were an accident. It's a, excuse me. Are you freaking nuts to tell your child that?
Something. I have to insert something. My mom, because she got pregnant on a New Year's Eve with me, and she was
Oh,
always telling me that it was so planned, and I was like, yeah, right.
yeah, right. I mean, that's the other thing. If you say, yeah, New Year's Eve, of course it was planned. But maybe it's true. It's even better than the other story or the other
Yes.
side. And still, if we go towards the point of view from the mother for a moment, because, you know, we don't want to blame or point out people and say you did something wrong. It's just look at what you do. And then afterwards, you know, if it came across and came along very good or not. And for this young girl, it did not come across very well, because I think it's the worst thing that you can say someone. Basically, it means you're not wanted, you were never wanted, I don't like you, I don't love you. So it cannot get any worse. And I think that this mother in this situation, when you say something like that, was so frustrated, full of fear, overwhelmed, probably with life, with work, with money, whatever. And then maybe the daughter did or said something supposedly stupid, and then it all came out. And this usually happens very often. Whatever somebody tells you has nothing to do with you. It tells you more about the person that says or writes or however phrases it towards your way. They might be in an extreme situation right now, and it has zero to do with you. And you just come around the corner having the best intention, and you say something or ask something or do something or do nothing, and then they totally explode. And then, of course, they fire something at you where they know they will win because they are so at the end of their power. They're so down on the ground that they say, fight or flight mode. Either I can walk away, but I'm too tired of walking away. So I need to fight and I need to win the fight with the first hit. It needs to be a knockout in second one. And of course, then people pull out something just to rescue themselves, that they win the fight, but it was never about the fight. Still, we take this on as young girls, as young boys, and we think that's the truth. And like Vladi said, then we go into this world with this filter in our mind, in our brain. We see the world different because we realize, oh, I have not been wanted. I should have been aborted. I should have been this. I should have been that. Oh, I'm retarded. I'm not good enough. And we go and take action, but we don't take 100% action or even 120% action based on your own inspiration. No, it's like you put on the brakes and you step on the gas, and then it makes and it smells kind of funny if you hit the gas and hit the brakes at the same time. And this happens in your life. It just smells funny, it sounds funny, and it feels funny. You say it's like bumping back and forth, and you go a little bit forward, then you go backwards. And this usually happens. But not because you're a bad person or you're less worth than anybody else. I mean, why should you be less worth? Do you imagine how creation is done? I mean, human creation, as Vladi mentioned it on New Year's Eve. You all know how human creation is done. And now let's just be honest. By this very simple act of this one thing going into the other thing, something like you, God's greatest creation, with this mind, with this intuition that we have, with this connection, with this caring, with this creative mind. Can you imagine that out of something kind of silly, stupid, sometimes very shortish thing, something such amazing being comes out, and you think this was you? Are you totally out of your mind? Oh, I created my children. With the job you did? You created this perfection? I don't think so. So there's a lot between the injection, kind of, and the birth, and then the development. And now somebody else comes and puts their opinion in your mind. Would you, I don't want to say stop doing that, because when we get compliments, we like doing that. We take them on, hopefully. Some people don't. They say, no, 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 no. Oh, thank you so much for helping. No, 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 it was nothing. They avoid being thanked and being praised for a couple. Say, no, 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 no. Why? Because they don't know how it feels, and it feels awkward if somebody praises you and lifts you high. So always make sure that you realize you are God's highest form of creation. I mean, humankind does not behave like that lately, but we still are, and we have the possibility and the power if and only if we believe in it. And that's why we call it the faith building podcast. We want to give you faith that you believe in yourself more and more every day. Put on a different pair of glasses, even though Vladi has no pair of glasses, but she has a beautiful point of view.
Invisible ones.
Yes. Tell us more about your invisible glasses.
You know, it is really, I love the invisible glasses because they're positive. And, you know, sometimes I really want to point this out. Be selfish enough to care how you feel. So everything Norman said really kind of goes into, we worry about everyone else. We worry about whether we're good enough, like really you fueling the good enough. And it's like, imagine that you are that shell as if you were a new car. But if you don't put the petrol or battery, I'm not going to talk about electric cars because I don't like them, but I'm going to stick with the petrol. You don't fuel the car, it's not going to move. It doesn't matter. It's new and it's shiny and it's looking amazingly and it's just going to give you a great ride. You have to fuel it. Whether you charge it or where you put the petrol in, you have to put it in. And this is your passion. You're not charging yourself. You can be the most polished person ever. You're going to be just sitting there doing nothing. But what actually your fuel is the love. And it really is the joy. It's doing the things that make you feel really good. We're back to the feeling. because you're not feeling good or not selfish enough to feel how you feel. Because what Norman was talking about, the belief and Wayne Dyer, the approval we seek is really just not feeling worthy ourselves or not feeling good enough, because we worry about pleasing everyone else. A lot of people do. We're people pleasers. Oh, as long as I can do all this for everyone else, but then by the end of the day, and I can put my hand for it, I know how it feels, is when you just feel drained, completely drained, no energy, but you keep giving. And I want to really go back to, if your cup is 80% full and you're giving 20%, you're doing people much bigger favor than you running down on 20 and giving and giving 100% out, but out of what are you giving it to? You have to fill your cup first. It's not, and this is really very closely connected to the beliefs. If your cup is full, you're not going to accept any of those statements or opinions of other people. And I used to love what Bob Proctor said. Your opinion is just your opinion. It's a fact. And fact is not the truth. The truth is you're perfect the way you are. Yes, we may have a behavior that is not really great, but we have to take enough responsibility to stop blaming people and circumstances and economy and politicians and whatever it is outside of you, because really it's inside you. I was remembering today when I was coaching this morning, the Care Bears. I don't know if you remember when I was little, I was probably a little bigger than little, but there was this series about the Care Bears. They were bears, they had colors, and they had this little circle on their tummy. And they would have love, joy, all the positive emotions. And you couldn't, obviously there were negatives too, you couldn't change and press the buttons. So can you imagine that as we are now, every single person in your life, whether it's online or whatever, we would have this circle that would show our real vibration, a real one. And if I can show up in here and talk to you and smile at you and inside feel frustrated. I mean, you could probably pick up on it. If I was frustrated, you most likely are to pick up on it. But sometimes we get so good in hiding emotions and hiding the truth that is actually happening behind the scenes, because it's how we program. We don't want to share. We don't want other people to think that we're struggling or anything. So we present ourselves in way more polished package than we really are, which is stepping away from your authenticity. And it's the fear again. It's really just operating from the fear of rejection, fear of being not good enough, fear of people not buying services with us or products, like all these fears accumulate. But if you have that emotion and you could never press anything, you would have to change how you feel to change that statement of yourself. And you would have to get out to school, to work, and everywhere you walk, that everyone can see what you're vibrating. Now, you would pay much bigger attention to how you really feel, because you would care to a certain point what other people see you, and you don't want to be walking out there smiling and with the sticker going anger or jealousy or frustration or despair, because that would make us feel like, oh my God, now the whole world can actually see that I am frustrated, despaired, whatever emotion it is. So try and think about this and feel that. And I did the Esther Higgs Abraham workshop this weekend, and it was amazing how she pointed out something, and that goes to Norman's story, how we started this podcast. She said, I've heard this incredible noise, squealing kids, and like this happiness and like a real joy. I looked out of my window from the hotel, and there were this group of parents, few of them, and their kids. And the kids just kept running away from the parents because they were having much more fun until the parents got closer to them. Because they were telling them, obviously she couldn't hear them. She was looking from the window but she could tell the vibration. She could translate the vibration. They were this high energy, fully joyous creatures. And every time the parents would come close, the energy would lower down, because we can imagine, and this is how we live. We, as the parents, you must do that and don't do that and don't sit properly, do this. I mean, I'm one of them. Like every single one of us being a parent is because we think it's the good, and I want my kids to be well behaved, and I want my kid to be kind, and I want well, show it. Just be it. Just be it all the time, and the kid will learn. There's no need to even use. And I love what Esther said. Words don't teach. They never teach. It's the vibration that people pick. So it's the chemistry. It's not just chemistry between male and a female. You just naturally feel, is there someone in your life you just know that I just want to be around them why? Because you feel good. And it's be selfish enough to acknowledge that I want to spend certain times with certain people just because I feel good. There is no other reason. And obviously I learn different things as well. But it really comes down to one thing, that is the feeling. And that feeling is what actually affirms the beliefs. So the beliefs you're creating and what you believe is true and what you actually are smart enough to recognize, no, this is not who I am. And maybe I behaved that way. So yeah, I deserve that statement, but that's not who I am. And I'm not accepting it. So reject that. Say, I will work on myself. And don't compare yourself with others, because that is what throws everything out of this game back to normal.
I love all the stories, and I will touch some of them. Like with the kids, and this is another thing where we put on a filter or pair of glasses, that you tell your kids, you need to behave, I want you to behave. It has nothing to do with the kids. In your mind, it does. Because if the kids are acting out in the restaurant, it's not about how people look at the kids, it's how people look at you. So it's very selfish to tell them what you think they should do. And of course, we can go very general and say, yeah, but it's nicer in a regular world if people are polite and quiet and talking down. I totally agree. And still, it's never about the child. It's the fear what other, like you said in the school, what other parents would think if your kid is screaming from the top of her lungs over the whole class court. All the other people look where? To the child, and then towards you and say, "Ah, you're the mother, you're the father. Ah, okay, this tells a lot." And then you stand there like, and then again you borrow their beliefs. And I like the idea with the bears where you said they show the heart and whatever little signs they had on their tummy. Wouldn't it be great if this would be true? If you would see in each and every person on this planet their vibration, their true vibration, for one and one fact only. If you would see somebody is hurt, somebody is pissed, somebody is mad, somebody is fearful, and they tell you something. Oh, why did you park your car so stupidly? And you would look at their energy and you would say, oh, okay, full of frustration because work sucks. You would take the answer lightly. You would take the opinion lightly. You would just brush it off and say, yeah, with this vibration, it's understandable. Shit in, shit out. If it's a music business, a quote like, if you sing shitty into a microphone, the best PA in the world, most expensive PA, cannot project something beautiful out to the world. You sing shit into the microphone, and what goes out to the audience will be shit as well. Now, of course, I know all your professionals who say, yeah, but there's auto-tune. Yes, in music there's auto-tune, so you sing shitty into the microphone, and out there it sounds beautifully because it higher or lowers your vibe where you're probably a little bit flat off. But in life this does not happen. So if somebody approaches you again with an opinion where you think, do I want to take this home or not? Just imagine how their vibration must be to tell you something like that. And even if they say, I'm very authentic, I'm honest, I just tell people in their face what I think. Yes, but if we came from love and we go back to love and our creation, our creator is full of love, the mission could be love. And if somebody tells you their honest and authentic opinion that you're stupid as ... Does this come from love? I don't think so. It must come out of fear, out of anger, out of frustration, out of the warm weather, the cold weather, the rain, the storm, the whatever on the outside. And this brings me to the last story I want to jump in that Vladi shared about the glass. It's totally true. And if you say, yeah, I have so much to do and I only have 20% energy left, 20% in my glass, but I give 100%. Yeah, you give 20%. You cannot give 100 from 20. Like 100 from 20 is 20, it's still 20. And now our idea, our invitation that we put on our big buffet is make sure you know what you fill into your cup. Because how you fill this cup called mind, based on news, based on stories, based on friends, on relatives, people in your surrounding, they are filling your cup with a certain liquid, basically, through their thoughts, through their actions, through their inspirations. Make sure that you stick around people and stick around informations and stick around movies and series on Netflix and whenever and wherever you do stuff that have a positive message. And we know, and probably that's a topic for next episode, it's not all about positive thinking. Positive thinking alone will not bring it home. Still, it's a very important part. And if you watch a series on Netflix, just ask yourself the messages they are giving you in this series, in this movie, in this newspaper, in this podcast, in this talk. Do they look at the world as a positive place? And if not, do they have solutions? Do they have creative ideas, creative solutions? Then you can listen to it. But you don't need to listen or watch somebody or read stuff where they are only negative and they are beating on others. Oh, the politicians, oh, the people in the economy, they're all so bad. And the Americans and the Russians and everybody in between. Everybody is so bad. Oh, the soccer game, World Cup, everything is so bad. What do you get out of that at the end of the day? If they're just complaining and bitching and mourning and seeing the negative, you get a lot of negative stuff in your cup. And then you can only work with this negative stuff in your cup because it's sad that you only have 20%. But if this 20% is basically not very healthy and very toxic liquid, the 100% you give is you throw out 100% means 20% toxicity into the world. And this affects other people, and this affects other people. And it's like the domino effect. So be part of the positive movement. If you throw out stuff, make it positive. If somebody throws something negative at you, just just have this invisible wall of protection and it can bounce off of you. And just imagine you have this, what was the name? Lucky bear? Golden bear?
It was Care Bears.
Care Bear, thank you. In German, it was Glücksbärchen, which would
Yeah.
be lucky bears, the
I
Care Bear.
wonder whether it actually was German production because I used to watch it in
Ah, could be.
Czechoslovakia, so really it was
Oh,
translated from
could be.
somewhere. Or Spanish,
Could
maybe.
also be. Maybe somebody wants to write us and say the Glücksbärchen,
I'll find them.
what where they are from,
I'm
and we will
using this
find.
as the base for kids' journal about them. But I want to add something to what Norman's saying about it's like if I had the coffee here. So what Norman is saying about what is here, not just percentage how much you have, but the darkness. If you add, and I love using this as well on live events where you just keep adding a black coffee into it. So you're watching the news, you're putting the black coffee because if you watching a news, you can't control this. Like yesterday, I don't like football. Whoever knows me knows that. I got so upset England lost to Argentina yesterday because we
So
were
sorry.
almost winning. And then it just took such a turn and it threw my vibration for a bit. And I was thinking like, I mean, how is this going to change my life from tomorrow anyway? It isn't. But can you see how how the emotions can rise from something that happens as if that is in any way changing my life? It isn't. So only use it as a joy. And if you keep adding black coffee into it and keep adding and adding, that's going to become a black water. And it's going to take much more white to replace and eliminate the black one. So really think about what am I choosing? Am I choosing to actually add something white, which is positive or negative? Because the white one is much harder to actually to make it clearer. It's much harder than to make it darker. It's quite easy. And you can slip the vibration from being high into low so fast. You can't do it the other way around. You will never slip okay, when I say never, you fall in love. You know, like you meet someone and your vibration changes, and all of a sudden you could have been the most negative person on this planet, and you wake up and you're in love, and I'm talking properly in love, everything's beautiful. Like the food tastes better, the air is cleaner, the opportunities, you're just seeing happiness everywhere. That's what shifts this massive kind of vibrational, when we swings, I can call them swings, but genuinely you can actually fall down much faster. Raising up is not as fast as easy as the other way around. And I'll let Norman to close this.
Totally true. And honestly, when you showed the example with the glass and the coffee, it takes one drop and
Yep.
only one drop of black coffee to ruin the whole glass of water, because every sip will taste like coffee. Of course, like Vladi said, the more you add, the more brown or black it will get. But the taste is ruined after one drop. So it could be only one drop, one doubt, one idea from somebody else, a life of success, of, we know this from social media. You have 100 people that praise you, that say, oh, this was amazing what you did or what you shared or great vacation. And you have one negative comment and you focus on this one, and all the others, the other 100s, they just fade away as they would have never ever been there. And you get depressed and say, yeah, nobody likes me. Yeah, it was one negative. And I always said, the moment I am known in the world and the blue glasses are known, somebody else will do my Instagram and Facebook and all the other things. I don't want to read one comment. And of course, I appreciate all the comments that you write, but I will have somebody that filters them and gives me the most beautiful ones. And if there are questions, happy to answer. But all this negative stuff, if you come to my house and you leave your trash there, I don't need your trash. You can keep that to yourself. And this does not mean that we ban negative ideas or different opinions. Not at all. It's just the way you do it. And if you come and you take a dump in my living room, then you are at the wrong place. If you tell me what you did not like, perfect. But if you leave coffee in my water glass, that's it. So always make sure that your water stays clean and safe. And we wish you a wonderful week. And we're here and see you again in episode 82. And then most likely with the idea follow up of, why is positive thinking not the only thing we should do? Until then, have a safe week. Bye bye.